Unacademy. Let's crack it.
The road to success is sometimes riddled with doubts and myths. Now, if you think that this is a quote by Warren Buffett or maybe Steve Jobs, no, you're mistaken. This is something that I came up with. And how did I realize this? Well, over the last 6 months or so, Unacademy has been very active. We conducted workshops in Bangalore. We did educator meets in Delhi. And we had this intention of bringing the educators together with the students, and we wanted to help the students clear their doubts. But then, in every session, in every meet, we just realized this, that students are kind of very plagued by myths, I would say. There are certain doubts which they are not able to get rid of. So, and these questions keep coming up in our sessions also. Like umpteen number of times I have met these points coming from students. So what did we do? We decided to hold a session. We decided to rope in 3 studs. Studs kahan se? From IIM, like top IIMs, I would say. So we decided to rope in these 3 studs who are going to help us smack down these myths. If you know what I mean, you will understand how troubling these myths can be. So these 3 studs that I have with me over here are Sakshi, Kaustav and Sankalp. So let's go over to them and let's see what they have to tell us about themselves. Hi Sankalp.
Hi ma'am. I am an MBA from IIM Kashipur, and post my MBA I have extensive experience in leading growth focused projects and teams across the internet and the e-commerce industry. I am an individual who is very passionate about startups and innovation, and in my free time I also enjoy doing photography and teaching.
Wow, that was nice. Sakshi, hello and welcome over here.
Hi ma'am. I'm Sakshi. I'm currently working as a growth manager at a leading startup. Prior to that, I did my MBA from IIM Indore. I have a knack for ownership and I love working on things that have a huge impact on the stakeholders. In my free time, I play table tennis and I love doing calligraphy.
Good. So she's a table tennis player. Over to the third stud that we have over here. Hi Kaustav.
Hi ma'am. I'm Kaustav and I've done my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. Before that, I was an aerospace engineer from IIT Kanpur. I have currently been doing at a category manager role at a leading startup. Like Sakshi, I also like to play table tennis and other sports as well, for example football and basketball. Yeah.
Okay. So have you both ever played together, table tennis, against each other?
Yes.
Once or twice, yeah.
You have. Okay. So who won? Oh. Is that a modest thing or she actually won?
No,
she's
actually
a
I'm
really
a
good
professional table tennis player. I've been playing table tennis for more than 10 years.
She is like being so modest. She's blushing when she's telling us about, how like I'm a pro at table tennis and all. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for joining me over here, studs. And I was just mentioning the myths and how we are planning to smack down these myths for the benefit of the audience out there. Audience bole to, they are not like, you would know very well because you have been there, done that. You have gone through the rigmarole and not very long back. Like you're like fresh out of MBA colleges. So you took the cap, you prepared, right? And then you went to IIMs. So how has the journey been so far? Let's start with Kaustav. Like if you can just tell it to us in 2 lines, how has your journey been so far?
It's a very common answer, but honestly speaking, it's been a roller coaster.
Okay.
I mean, getting into IIM, agreed, is tough, but surviving there and getting out is even tougher.
Okay.
But nonetheless, it's been a really joyful ride for me.
Okay. So no regrets looking back.
No regrets.
Okay. What about you, Sakshi?
Again, as Kaustav said, it's been overwhelming, I'd say. The 2 years, they teach you a lot, and you'll get some lessons that you'll take away for life. And it's a great experience. You meet like-minded people and you learn so much. You have good professors, and it's a complete experience in itself. So no regrets at all.
So if given a chance, would you do MBA once again? Like
Definitely,
from one of the
I would
IIMs?
love to, definitely, because it's not just about learning, it's about meeting new friends, it's about, interacting with them and learning so many things that you would have not learned in any other way. So definitely I would love to go back to my campus and enjoy those 2 years again.
What about you, Sankal?
I think it's been an amazing journey. Getting into an IIM was always my dream, and once I have done my MBA, so I'm currently handling some roles which I always wanted to lead, and currently I am in a network of people who are like-minded individuals and from top tier colleges.
Okay.
So I think that is definitely something which is very enjoyable at the same time.
So the same question, I'll ask you what I asked her. If given a chance, would you like to go back and again do it?
Not because I have any regret, so I wouldn't want to do it because of that purpose. But my 2 years of my MBA were so far the best years of my life. So just to relive those moments, I would definitely do an MBA again.
Okay, so despite the pressure that we have heard of that goes on beyond those walls, these three are very happy with what they have done. And I'm sure you all have that coveted desire in your heart to reach one of those hallowed corridors, Ahmedabad ho, Indore ho, Kashipur ho, kahin bhi ho. But then guys, as I said, it's really not going to be an easy journey. Even these guys must have faced a lot of problems while they were preparing. And jo myths aapke dimag mein hai, jo points aapke dimag mein, I'm sure even they had these. So without further ado, I'll take you over to the first myth. And this is something which is to do with engineers and non-engineers. I can see the smile on your face. You must be thinking, अरे यही तो मेरे दिल में है, यही तो मैं समझ रहा हूँ, क्योंकि मैं तो engineer हूँ ही नहीं, तो मुझे तो preference मिलेगा ही नहीं. Guys, the first question that I have for these studs over here is it easier for an engineer to crack CAT as compared to a non-engineer? So this is the first myth that we are trying to smack down for the benefit of the listeners, and I would love to hear some thoughts from all three of you. So, Kaustav is an engineer.
Yeah.
Right? What about you, Sakshi?
I'm also an engineer.
And
I've also done my engineering.
I've lost my case over here, guys. Should we go ahead with this? चलो सुनते हैं. बहुत मजेदार points रहेंगे because all three of them are engineers. उसके बाद फिर हम देखेंगे कि हम उनको counter कैसे कर सकते हैं, right? चलो. Anyway, yes. So, guys, would you like to say something on this particular point?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. So, this is a great myth, of course, and seeing that all three of us are engineers, you can also say that it's easier for engineers to get into CAT, but it's not. It's a myth, totally, because whatever syllabus comes in CAT, right? It's basically anyone who has done 10th. After that, he or she can give the exam, right? I can say one thing that an engineer has an advantage is that in the quant section he has been studying for the past 3-4 years in that situation. He can easily answer those questions. Maybe it reflects a little bit on his quant solving speed.
Right.
That's one area where I think he has an advantage. But overall, it's to get into a top IIM. Actually, being a non-engineer is a little better. Are you
referring to GEM?
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
Right, guys. So GEM. When students come in the class and they say, "Ma'am, मेरा ना इतना academics, इतना 10th, इतना 12th, इतना ये last में लगाते हैं. I'm a GEM." Okay. So GEM का जो real meaning है, यहाँ पे GEM कुछ और ही हो जाता है, right? So okay. So what Kaustav says is, in fact, it can be something ulta. Okay. You may have a disadvantage if you don't have that certificate to back you, any category ka, right? Okay, so what do you have to say to this, Sakshi, after what he said?
As Kaustav mentioned, absolutely, it's a big myth. I know a lot of my friends who are from non-engineering backgrounds and they have been into very good tier 1 MBA colleges. So definitely, being an engineer has nothing to do with cracking CAT, I'd say. Definitely, if somebody has, is well read in school, he or she will be able to crack CAT. It's all about general aptitude and basic English, I'd say. So if you are dedicated, I'd say nothing can stop you. Even if you're a non-engineer, you definitely have an advantage even before going into an MBA college and after going into an MBA college. So once you go into once you step into a tier 1 MBA college, or for that matter any MBA college, I'd say, for example, for me, being an engineer, it was a disadvantage. I did not know any concepts of finance. I had my peers who had done CA and were coming from a commerce background. They always had an advantage over me. So at times I would think, what would it have been like if I had chosen commerce over science. So there are pros and cons of both, but being a non-engineer should not stop you from preparing for CAT. It's not a roadblock at all. So those are my thoughts on that.
But you know what, here you said, both of you have spoken about it from the student's preparation point of view. I would like to ask something about the preference that institutes give to engineers, like for example, Kolkata and Bengaluru. Somehow, they have that inclination towards engineers. So, keeping aside the GEM thing, what do you have to say about that? I mean, what kind of weightage do they give? Like some institutes, some top IIMs?
I'd say it completely depends. There are a lot of colleges who give advantage to non-engineers because they want diversity. Because once you step into an MBA college, you will see that mostly 60-70% of the learners are engineers. So obviously they would also want to have people who are from different backgrounds. So that also gives them an advantage. So it completely depends. Honestly, for a college, there are multiple criteria. So just being an engineer would not give you any advantage, even if they have a high weightage for being an engineer. So I'd say if you're good in other skills, if you have good academics or probably anything, if you have a good CAT score, definitely being a non-engineer will not stop you. Those are my thoughts.
What are your 2 cents on this?
Ma'am, first of all, I would say that talking from an analytical point of view, if we look down that from where does this myth arises from? So I think because a lot of people say that in engineering, there is a lot of engineering mathematics which people study for 4 years. But engineering mathematics is completely different from the type of questions that are being asked in the CAT or any MBA preparation exam. So having said this, it is quite clear that engineers do not have any kind of an advantage over non-engineers.
Would you say any kind of advantage or max?
From the preparation point of view. So
right.
if I talk about only scoring good marks in CAT, from that point of view, students, non-engineers, engineers are all or alike. But coming to multiple other aspects, like we talked about the different weightages given by different colleges to maybe your academic background or your professional background. So from that point of view, definitely there is some advantage based on the different percentage of weightages given by different colleges. But that is something again which is not in your hand. You've already walked down a lane, and then what is in your hand is to kind of go out there, give your best shot, whether it is scoring good marks in CAT or during your interview preparations. That is something which is in your hand, which everyone should be focusing upon.
Okay. So guys, we just heard it from the horse's mouth. All the 3 of them. I'm Ahmedabad, Kashipur and Indore. All 3 of them are of the same opinion, and trust me, मैंने पैसे नहीं दिए थे इनको ये बताने के बोलने के लिए इस तरह से. So all 3 of them are of this opinion that being an engineer, it's not necessary that it's going to be a roadblock for your getting through into one of the IIMs. Now, if we talk about it from the preparation angle, definitely I agree with them. Because Sakshi mentioned this, that if a person has been well read all along, he can easily understand CAT's passages and he can crack that. Then they also said that if a person has been good in maths, or even if he tries to clear the basics of maths till 10th or thoda bahut from 12th, he can easily get through. So ये अलग बात है कि हाँ मेरा तो वो भी अच्छा नहीं था. Now, so that brings me down to this point that if you are preparing for CAT, you need not worry about your maths being of engineering level, क्योंकि वो नहीं आता है. As simple as that. And when it comes down to the institutes and what kind of preference they give to engineers or to non-engineers, जेम तो हमने ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर रखा है. वैसे कुछ लोग आप में से अभी भी सोच रहे होंगे जेम क्या है, तो लेट मी जस्ट स्पेसिफाई, इट्स जनरल इंजीनियर मेल. So if you don't have a category certificate in this arena, you are considered GEM. And GEM में you don't get any preference. You are like the person who is kind of shown the back seat. तुम बैठ जाओ वहाँ पर. So anyway, so coming back to this point, I would like to say that you need not worry about this, guys. That if I'm a non-engineer, कैसे होगा? And I also remember when I take interviews of people who crack IIMs, finally, like some of my students, when I'm sitting for the interviews और वो जो YouTube पे chat जो roll up कर रहा होता है ना, उसमें सारे बच्चे पूछ रहे होते हैं, मैम पहले ये पूछो वो engineer है क्या? मैम पहले वो पूछो वो engineer है. So guys, this is not a criterion for which you need to sweat. Alright, so I hope that is clear and I hope you guys are feeling more at ease after this.